Today is 698 day that I'm here to learn. I'm learning. I hope this will support your dreams, your goals, allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today I'm going to speak about rules of life. Rules of life. Now, it's okay that when you create your rules and you live by, but what happens is a lot of time we allow other people to dictate our life. And we allow other people rules to dictate our life. And then sometimes other people to create rules just for you. They don't live by those rules, but they create rules for you. And you live by those rules. And why is that? Because we do not know any better. We do not know sometimes better. Sometimes we believe that those rules are set and those are facts. But some rules are created to be broken because those are not smart rules. Some rules are stupid and we're not supposed to follow them. And sometimes we need to question every single rule to understand that some rules needs to be broken. Because if you want to live a meaningful life, there's a lot of rules will be broken. A lot of people believe that something is impossible, but you change the rules and you were able to achieve that. That's why it's very, very important to reflect and strategize things that you can break the rules that is not helping. Some rules are very important, but at the same time, we need to question what rules are helping us and what rules are not, and why those rules are there, and who created those rules. Who created those rules? You or somebody else, and why you are following those rules. So today I will share 13 rules that a lot of times people live by, but we need to change those rules and we need to break those rules because they are not helping us at all. And that's why we need to break. So first rule is perfectionism. Perfectionism. A lot of times people build a standard, a rule for themselves. Everything needs to be perfect. Who created? A lot of times people by themselves created perfectionism. And there's different reasons why people want to be perfect. But this rule is impossible. There is nothing perfect in life. Nothing perfect in life. Knowing that there is nothing perfect in life. How close it could be to that, but nothing perfect. So knowing that, how are we supposed to expect something that there is impossible to achieve? Because there's impossible to achieve perfection, people are seeking that, but they never achieve it. Because of that, they never feel satisfied or fulfilled or joyful. So if you live by a rule of perfectionism, you will never feel fully joyful because we always try to achieve that perfection. So we need to break that rule and not seek perfection, but we need to seek excellence. Excellence is a lot of times much, much easier to achieve, and it's possible to achieve what's most important. Number 2 is comparison. Now, a lot of times people compare, other people compare, everything compare, and we start to compare ourselves to other people. We compare how we live, our relationships, finances, body, everything, business, like everything we start to compare. And when we do that, we take away joy of our lives. Because there will always be people who are ahead of us, and there will always be people who are below us, if we can say below us, who didn't achieve that success in that specific area. So that means sometimes you want to boost your ego, you look into people who are theoretically not as achieved as you. And sometimes when you really want to move forward, but you look into those people who are much, much farther ahead, we feel discouraged. That's why we need to understand sometimes to look into one day that, okay, where we are, how many steps do we need to take? You compare first time and you now compare for a year. You need to put that deadline, a timeline when you don't compare yourself with others. Because understand where people are is important. We still need to live in reality. But at the same time, we compare only once in a quarter. Another time, every single day, we compare ourselves from yesterday. And I think that's the best way to use comparison as a rule, because you need to compare, but you need to compare yourself from yesterday. And that is one of the best energy boosters to move forward. So rule is compare yourself to yesterday, not compare with others. Number 3 is negativity and pessimism. People sometimes have that negativity and pessimism as a rule. I said, I don't want to be optimistic, but it's not realistic. So people live in negativity or pessimism, and they believe that is the right way to live. And now, who created this rule? People themselves or others? Now, I think that there's a lot of times different cases, and a lot of times people create by themselves, and they believe that if they will not create optimism and then they will not be optimistic and will not create anticipation about something and will be negative and pessimistic, that they will not get hurt. But I think that this rule is, again, taking away the joy of anticipation, because anticipation is one of the beautiful emotions to anticipate the best but prepare for the worst. That's, I think, is always the best way. Number 4 is avoiding change. Avoiding change. People start to build rules around it. Oh, I don't change this. Oh, I don't change. I'm not good at it. So people create rules about themselves, about change, about what they are capable of. And that's why they avoid change, because they create rules about change. I change only that. So what do you want to change and why you want to change it? Because sometimes taking away that rule of change and saying, no, I'm changing constantly and I'm not avoiding the change, then of course you, again, I think that it's much more fulfilling to constantly changing. Number 5 is holding grudges. People have rules and they create rule that it's okay to hold grudge. It's okay to not forgive. It's okay to think about the person and all the bad thing that people done. People sometimes don't understand that forgiveness is one of the things that you do for yourself, not for others. Because when you forgive and you forget, it means that you are living a much more joyful life. When you realize that in a deep down and you build that rule rather than having a rule of holding grudges, you again have much more energy to focus on things that matters rather than thinking about things that hurt you. Number 6 is ignoring self-care. Now, people do not create rule about self-care and they ignore it. And they believe that ignoring self-care is okay. And that is a rule that they created. That means that we need to understand that every single thing we do, we have some kind of rules and standards in place. So ignoring self-care is, again, this is as it's devastating how many people are ignoring the self-care and they have a rule and they have no rules at all about healthcare. Number 7 is overwork. Sometimes people have so high standards, such a high rules, and I need to make this happen by a specific time, and they overwork and they burn out. And of course, when you overwork, a lot of times overwork is the time when all other areas of your life is hurting. Just to finish one job that potentially even doesn't give so much return. So when you understand, a lot of times one of the most important parts is really awareness. How much do you invest in something? Because when you understand that overwork is one of the rules that you set for yourself that you're not able to meet, and because of that, your other areas of life is hurting a lot of times because of that. Number 8 is isolation. So when something happens, something bad happens, something disappointing happens, what do you do? What kind of rule do you set for yourself? Do you isolate or do you go and find some help, support, ask some questions, find a way? Or you isolate? And this is, again, what kind of rule you build, what kind of habits you build. Because those are, again, how fast you will come out of your problem. Because if you isolate by yourself and go in your corner and cry, your cry is probably better than really forgetting and trying to deny a problem. But at the same time, if you're able to go and find people who could help you to overcome the challenge as fast as possible, most likely you'll move in life much faster than really trying to isolate. So what kind of rules you have built about really going after the challenges and problems? Number 9 is materialism. Again, this is the rules people build, what they need to have to be successful, to be happy, to be seen. Who created those rules? A lot of times materialism is created only by society. Because some societies are caring about one thing, some societies about other thing. And what do you care? And why is that important? Again, materialism is, a lot of times people need to ask like 5 levels. Why is it important? Why that is important? Why that is important? And you realize that you just want to be seen by other people. But why do you want to be seen by other people? I want to not being judged or anything. So that means we need to understand exactly why we want things. And materialism is okay sometimes when you need for own reasons, not for others. So rules about materialism is very important as well. Number 10 is cynicism. That is one thing that a lot of times people are hurting and they use that to really think that it's okay. So if I will put some negativity on other people, that's okay because I'm hurting. So that means other people are supposed to be hurt now. So that means we need to learn how to use positive emotions, not negative emotions, not to judge other people, because that is a rule that people who are unhappy have created for themselves. Number 11 is complacency. What kind of rule and standard you created for yourself as well? For complacency. People live the same life 10 years and they have built habits, routines so exact that you know exactly what you will do on Tuesday, on Wednesday, what you will do at 8, at 9, what you will do on Saturday, what you will do on Sunday. And life gets boring because you know exactly what you will do. But sometimes you need to get out of that complacency. You need to get out of your comfort zone, try something new, explore, really challenge yourself. Maybe even you need to suck at something to really learn something new. I'm a huge believer because a lot of times people have tendency to go to complacency. And that is a terrible rule to have. Number 12 is living for others' approval. Living for others' approval. That means that, again, you live, you do everything, and you want to be approved by others. I really love what Mike Tyson just listened recently, one of his podcasts, and he said that if you are friend to everyone, that means that you're enemy to yourself. I paraphrase, but I don't remember exactly how he said, but I really loved it. That if you are friend to everyone, that means you're enemy to yourself. Because you're not able to be friend to everyone. You will not get approval from everyone, and you need to be okay with it. And if you are setting a rule that you want to be living for other approvals and you want to liked by everyone, you will be enemy to yourself because you will not like yourself being approved by everybody. So we need to be a rule to live by your own values that you are joyful to live by. And last one, number 13, is ignoring boundaries. Ignoring boundaries. That is a terrible rule. So that means if someone said that something is important for them, you need to follow. And if you said that it's important for you, you need to follow. Not allow anybody to go through those boundaries. Those boundaries are essential to live your joyful life. So never, never, never allow someone else to ignore your boundaries, but at the same time, never ignore other people's boundaries as well. It's very, very important. Boundaries is essential because some people want and like one thing, other person is different things. And knowing that we're not able to offer something for others who doesn't like that, and you're not able to accept something that other people love but you hate, just to be approved, again, like 12 is for approval. So that means that there is no any reason in life to ignore your or other people's boundaries. Be able to be aware of it. Maybe those boundaries sometimes maybe it doesn't make sense, and when you're able to challenge those boundaries, but those boundaries need to be challenged by you, not by others. So there's a lot of things that people create rules, and I think that a lot of times we need to reflect the areas of life that we are not happy about, and ask, what kind of rules do I live by? Who create those rules? Do I like those rules? Those rules are helping me or not? And then if you say that those rules are not helping, maybe you're able to challenge those rules and say that those rules are not helping me. Those rules are hurting me, and I'm willing to challenge them. I'm willing to change those rules because I want to live a joyful life. I'm challenging my rules, and I hope that you will challenge your rules as well. And I hope you will choose to win, and see you tomorrow.